Hello everyone. I just want to say that it's such a joy to see so much interest from people in their heritage, and with a country with such rich foundations in built natural and cultural heritage, it's little wonder. I'm Cathal Flood, and in another case of nominative determinism, a water quality enthusiast and new water community water officer with Basil Mannion in the counties of Laois, Offaly and Westmeath for the Local Authority Waters programme. Today I will describe National Heritage Week from our perspective, and indeed from the vantage point of Water Heritage Day, and how this day acts to interlink the local heritage of water bodies with the importance of protecting them. The day itself takes place on Sunday the 20th of August, the final day of Heritage Week, and that is an image of a festival event from Waterford for the love of water. And indeed that is what a lot of these proposed events will be about in context, for the love of local water, for the appreciation at heart of all the rivers, streams and waters of home we've all grown up with. For me, my little paradise of water is a stream called the Comog, passing a small farm in County Longford. I was talking to my new colleague Colin Walsh last week, the new community water officer in Kerry, about his affection for the Bilbo that passes near his home. I just love the memories he had of it from youth, learning to swim and learning to fish, and all the experiences of growing up by its banks. But for us all here today, such places and such waters come to mind, I'm sure. So why not celebrate the heritage of the waters we know in such an event for National Heritage Week? Indeed, in our organisation of the Local Authority Waters programme, certain legislation acts as a guideline for our role. The Water Framework Directive, signed into legislation back in 2000, has this core statement: water is not a commercial product like any other, but rather a heritage which must be protected, defended and treated as such. It's a heritage to do just that for. One of the core pieces of documents in this work is the River Basin Management Plan. Each EU state has its own version of these and is currently in draft form, with the next tier up for publication later this year for Ireland. The goals, of course, being to protect, maintain and improve water quality to good status and promoting core aspects of human health, wildlife and the economy. We do face a challenge, I can't lie there. The health of Ireland's streams, rivers, lakes and estuaries is improving in some areas, but ultimately overall there are many water bodies suffering, with 47% in an unsatisfactory ecological status. But although the image is worrying and there are urgent messages we have to respond to, when I meet so many local champions on the ground, I feel the vitality is there for people to improve, protect and indeed celebrate their natural water bodies. These local custodians of water quality, with a pride of place and a pride of their water. There is one of our pristine water bodies, or blue dots as we call them, areas at the highest ecological status. That there in Camross, County Laois, on a recent visit I did there to meet another local champion in Joanna from the Tidy Towns group. Streams and rivers of home like the Delore can be found and can return elsewhere with the many other river custodians across Ireland, and that makes me positive. And where do Law Pro come in this in terms of our remit? Well, we work with local authorities, public bodies such as IFI, National Parks and Wildlife Service, Environmental Protection Agency or other stakeholder groups, as well as engaging and supporting community groups to protect and care for the natural waters of Ireland. And this covers streams, rivers, lakes, estuaries, groundwaters, wetlands and coastal waters. Ultimately, in a sense, helping to empower communities to protect and care for their own local rivers and streams. So setting the scene, the who, the why and the what of Water Heritage Day. The day itself is a collaboration between Law Pro and the Heritage Council. It's the final day of Heritage Week, but there is flexibility for the event to occur on other days along the week if the community group organising the event can't have it on that particular day. It operates with the CWO, in my role, working between heritage officers and community groups. Ultimately, it is a connection piece in terms of bringing people and water together. We are connected in so many ways to water in this country, historically when we think of it. Back to pagan times and holy wells and folklore even. I spoke to a woman last Friday on the 7 wonders of four and how 4 of those wonders relate to the wonderful properties of water. I feel it's ingrained in our culture. There have been many successful events on Water Heritage Day, and this has grown. We had 26 events in 2017 to over 90 in 2022. 95 in fact, showing its building capacity year on year. The partnership with the Heritage Council is strengthening year on year, and we work in close collaboration with them and the heritage officers. And I'm about to just show a video on just one of those events that embodies the celebration of water I spoke of earlier. Paddy Dwan here coordinating a guided biodiversity tour of the Anne Valley in County Waterford for Water Heritage Day last year around the wetlands there.
Welcome to the beautiful Anne Valley. Today, the 21st of August 2022, imagine it, is Water Heritage Day, and we're here once again to celebrate that. The Anne Valley, one of the great wetlands that we have on the coast of County Waterford, and today with our group we're going to talk about wetlands, the value of wetlands. We're going to have a look at the integrated constructed wetlands. And also basically what I do, or try to do, is to get people to look at things and to really look at things. Like our little wildflowers, to listen and to smell and even taste. If you listen carefully now, you'll just hear the sedge warbler. He's buried deep in the reeds there now. It hides a lot. But this time of year, it's not going to sing too much. In May, yeah, it'll be huge. It'll sing non-stop. You're not going to see an otter this morning, but they're all around here. You know what I mean? They're here, have no doubt about it. And there's ways of knowing that they're here. Firstly, it's just ideal for them because there's water and there's fish and they're safe. See, there's the beautiful otter. I called him out of the river. You can do that simply, boys and girls and everybody. You make a little thing like that and you go, and you just make that sound. But they think it's something that's injured, and it's a free meal. And he came right from here to there, right up in the river, and he was looking at me. I just took his picture and I said, thanks. And off he went. This is a kestrel. We may or may not see one, but they're here. This is the reed mace, which is great. And in another few weeks, that will start to fluff out. It'll just start to break up. What we're in now is called the integrated constructed wetland. So, but simply what this is all the sewage, wastewater from Dunhill, surrounding area, houses, community, all that's run down and goes into the big septic tank. That comes from all the kitchens, toilets, farmyards, some of the waste, and that all comes down into the septic tank. It's fed into what are called cells, which are right behind us. You see these are actual kind of ponds. And then all the nutrients are dealt with by the plant life. They eat all the nutrients, and then it goes into the next cell, and then the next cell, and then it goes into the river basically. I can't even count how many different types of dragonflies and damselflies we have. Do you see these, what I have in my hand? Yeah. Do you see anything good there, lads? It's all good, isn't it?
We saw two fish.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Great.
I think that video encapsulates so many facets of water quality and biodiversity awareness that's interesting ecologically, but also that mutual linking of communities, bringing them to their water habitats, and that celebration of local water heritage. And there are many events to look at for inspiration or to see the benefits they can have. Here, the Camlin Camino event with John Connell, a fellow Longford man from my mother's home in Balnalee actually. Local Community Water Officer Karen Kennedy helped organise an event last year on the biodiversity of the local Camlin for Heritage Week with him. His brilliant book, The Stream of Everything. If people are unfamiliar, the book is about John's relationship with the local Camlin River that he revisits via a canoe trip, imagine, exploring the local ecology and heritage, his own river of home. If people are unfamiliar, in Offaly today, John Feehan's wonderful book, The River of Burr, also comes to mind, and the places of his upbringing. I think of his description of places, Clay's Hole and Corners of Sleeve Blooms, enlightened him a lifelong love and admiration of his local river. the camcore around him and his local water heritage, and that contributes to an incredible body of geoscience work we know. The point is there's so much appreciation out there for water heritage everywhere, and opportunities waiting to be explored in terms of events. Moving on again, we see these links forming, showcasing local heritage at its best, nature, events, water and poetry. Personally, as a deep appreciator of poetry and literature, the link to nature and water is seamless. Rivers as these living, restless, changing entities that we have such a duty to protect, but we do that with the support of local knowledge. The people who know the streams passing their doors and lanes, the rivers through their towns and streets, and the lakes on their shores. It's all part of painting the picture of local water heritage. Some examples from last year displayed in Offaly, Laois and Westmeath, and all these events I'll show had the collaborative support of Basil Mannion as the CWO and Law Pro within the region. And a novel project there saw poetry written by local poets about that Lone Canal waterway, and that was erected by the Heritage Group there. Songwriting in Ferban on themes of the River Brosna following a walk along the river. And making local connections is important too in such events, and drawing parallels for various community and local groups to come together to network and better understand their collective water bodies even, or their retrospective points of view even. In this slide we see more examples of such events in Laois of Westmeath and Offaly last year. The Bridges at Nowhere there in the top left, a Laois perspective talk given by Dr. Fred Hammond in Castletown. Launch of County Offaly's biodiversity and water quality action plans. This included 30 people taking part in water biodiversity training programmes in the county last summer, and that culminated in a presentation event during Heritage Week. People taking ownership of their water bodies in a way. Donoughmore Riverwalk, County Laois, this being with local farmers meeting catchment scientists, discuss their local waters, and an important event of knowledge transfer too, and a live display of aquatic invasive species along the River Shannon undertaken by ecologists for Heritage Week last year, and that's a great event of bringing biology to local people and them understanding the biology in an important river. So what are the steps involved to achieve this? Well, not to delay planning your event and getting stakeholders and people on board early. Contact people like myself or the other local community water officers to discuss the event. There's one or two of them in attendance here today. Selecting a suitable location, whether this be a river, lake or coast for the event to take place. And considering any health and safety requirements. That came up a lot in the workshop as well. And is there appropriate access or facilities for people attending? And then, of course, to list your event on the National Heritage website with the portal opening on May 2nd. And to reiterate, you can contact your local CWO for any assistance along this process. And practical tips and advice we can offer? Well, make no mistake, we are there to assist you and help deliver a successful local event for your area. There is a funding stream within Law Pro that means we can provide funding. There is also a simple online form developed, I should add, where community groups can apply for such funding, an easy online process that you can follow up with your local CWO. I think the deadline for that form will be June 30th. We can help coordinate the event in terms of management details like confirming dates and arrangements, linking people in the right direction. I would also add the county listings too, mentioned earlier by Amanda, are good resources, and our supports can also be utilised with match funding streams for bigger events. We can also assess what needs there may be for local events and discuss necessary strategies to achieve goals. And of course, we can also provide photography and promotion of the event via social media platforms and beyond, and making local community groups become their own little influencers as such. Local radio and media was actually cited at last week's training event as having good outreach potential too. It's not. Oh. And just for your own information, from wherever you may have come from today, you can see the national map of community water officers across the various regions. These important points of contact for organising such events. I'll just mention the two that are here today, Aoife McGrath in Meath and Kildare down there. And I want to say to Justin Ivory today, started in Dunleary, Rathdown and Wicklow, and wishing him the very best on his Law Pro journey. And my contact details are there for anyone to contact me on any queries you may have from today. my email, my mobile, and my very water-related Twitter of a 3-year farm water testing project. And I'm a farmer and I care about water. Ultimately, we are here to facilitate events on water heritage. Water is so important, especially in terms of improvement and protection of water quality when we think of our role, the local water authority. But it's also important in the context of living heritage, the theme of this year's events. The opportunity to explore local traditions and knowledge, in this case, of our waters. To help people come together and cherish the rivers and streams of home we all know and want to protect. We are here to help, we have funding means, and any heritage project or event with a water team, talk to us. Thank you very much, and I'm available for any questions.